If getting close to the exotic wildlife and captivating nature fascinates you, then the Mowgli Trail at Kanha National Park is designed just for you.
India may be the most densely populated country in the world, but it is also one of the richest in wildlife diversity. So that's why this time I'm headed to the dense jungles of Madhya Pradesh to encounter the immensely diversified wildlife of India. So join me on the safari to the Kanha Tiger Reserve.
One of the oldest national parks in India, the Kanha National Park is located in the Maikar ranges of Satpuras in Madhya Pradesh, the heart of India that forms the central Indian highlands. The national park has been popularized as a tiger reserve and is started as one of the finest wildlife sanctuaries in the world. Kanha was declared a reserve forest in 1879 and revalued as a wildlife sanctuary in 1933, until it was finally upgraded to a national park in 1955. Spread across two major districts, the Mandala and the Kala Ghat, Kanha covers an area of 940 square kilometers. By adding up the areas of the buffer and core zone combined, the Kanha Tiger Reserve has a total area of 1945 square kilometers.
After 5 hours of drive from Nagpur, I have finally reached the Kanha National Park. It is one of India's largest wildlife reserves, and this national park is one of the first 9 tiger reserves that was established in India way back in 1973 with an aim to protect all the tigers and their ecosystem. And this will also be the first time that I might get to spot a tiger in front of my eyes in its natural habitat. So I just cannot wait for it.
Landscapes and the surrounding meadows, along with the dense forests, offer generous sightseeing experiences for the nature lovers. Making the land more beautiful and adorable, the fresh streams flowing amidst the dense jungle makes the surroundings and the wildlife seem unparalleled. Kanha National Park is the ideal home for a wide range of creatures, right from the mighty tigers to the jewel of Kanha, the Barasingha or the swamp deer. It's also home to a vast species of plants, birds, reptiles and insects. This reserve has fascinated many travelers from around the world with its well-developed forest trails especially meant for them.
With one of the largest wildlife reserves in the country and over 300 recorded species of birds, Kanha promises enormous opportunities to explore. But for starters, choose a reserve that encapsulates the best of Kanha's wilderness and beauty. And that's exactly what has brought me to Banjar Tola. Spread over 90 acres, this sprawling property promises a rare combination of luxury into the wild.
Breaking new ground in India is a joint venture between And Beyond, a South African safari expert, and Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces, that offers the country its first and only wildlife circuit. This partnership, known as Taj Safaris, provides guests with the ultimate interpretive wildlife experience in India, which is based entirely on an ecotourism model. The joint venture's collaboration rests on decades of expertise in operating luxury jungle safari lodges, offering unique wildlife experiences coupled with luxurious service.
Initially, we started the first lodge in Kanha National Park, which was Mowgli in 2006, and every year later on we went on adding one more lodges. So altogether we have 4 lodges now, and the last lodge that came into existence was Tola. It was in 2009. Tola word means it's a cluster. In central India, most of the villages they are spread across in the cluster form. So each cluster is known as Tola. And since our lodge is located on the banks of Banjar River, we named it Tola. That's how the name came.
Taj Safaris own and operate 4 luxurious jungle safari lodges in central India, situated on the borders of well-known tiger reserves in Madhya Pradesh. This collection of lodges creates an easily accessible tiger wilderness circuit that celebrates the natural habitat of this rich Indian state.
See, though we are right on the edge of the national park along the river, we have very light footprints on the local ecosystem, because you can see our structures, they are based on the MS steel structure, and they're basically tents. There is no permanent structure which can disturb the wildlife, and even we have not fenced the area, so the movement of wild animals that can continue.
Tola is Taj Safari's 3rd safari jungle lodge in the state and is situated right on the edge of the Banjar River, which overlooks the Kanha National Park on the opposite bank. The 2 nature camps, east and west, each consist of 9 elegant tented suites. Each camp boasts of its own spacious, comfortable and open-air guest sitting area.
In this 92-acre property, we have total 2 camps. Each camp is equipped with 9 tents. So total we have 18 tents inventory for Tola. And it would be very difficult to have different categories. So all the tents, they are of the equal category, and all of them are luxurious. Each tent has got a deck which is overhanging, looking over the core area of the national park. And if you are sitting on that private deck, then there is nothing between you and the wildlife, and you can have a free dialogue with the nature.
The tented accommodation has been designed with a light footprint so as to protect the sensitive riverbed that it stands on. Each contemporary suite features bamboo floors, canvas roof, and walls and glass doors leading out onto a floating veranda overlooking the river. The luxurious tents have been designed in a contemporary style with pressed bamboo wall panels and locally crafted furniture. The textiles have been designed in tones of delicate saffron and green, which keeps the atmosphere light and organic.
Owing to its spectacular location, Tola will give you an experience closest to living in the forest. Every tent here has this beautiful porch that I'm sitting in right now, overlooking the river and the forest. So evenings when it gets pleasant, you can actually sit back, sip in some coffee and let yourself transcend into the wild.
Taj Safari lodges serve as a base to discover the abundant wildlife which inspired the Jungle Book, and as part of the 150th anniversary of the Jungle Book, Taj Safari has curated a very special Mowgli trail, designed especially for those passionate about nature.
See, this Mowgli trail came into, it came to our mind. We thought that let's take the children, let's organize so that they can relive that era. How the Mowgli was living, what areas were there, what creatures were there, what kind of rural area he was from, and what kind of cuisines were there, what activities he did in his days. So all those activities we want the youngsters to enjoy, to experience them, you know? And through that, then we would like to take them closer to conservation. And there is a typical tribe called as Baiga tribe, which is predominant in the central India. So we give you exposure to the insight of that tribe also, in terms of their cuisine, in terms of their living style, and their traditional culture.
Creating income generation opportunities through responsible tourism is the key. Taj Safaris leads initiatives from community development to education, environmental training and healthcare. It is not only engaged in the well-being of its neighboring community, but also aims at empowering people to become more self-reliant.
The wildlife conservation, then Taj Safaris has taken an initiative, and it played a major role in translocation of gaur from Kanha to Bandhavgarh. Till mid-90s, gaur, which is known as Indian bison, it was there in Bandhavgarh, but then for some reason it vanished from there. So then this thought came that why not to reintroduce them. So in year 2010 and in year 2011, 2 successive years, we helped the MP Forest Department to take about 50 gaurs from here, and probably we can say that the population is now over 90. So that's one in the field of conservation. As far as the local communities are concerned, there are a couple of hospitality skill building centers which are being operated, where people from the adjoining areas of the national park, mostly the youngsters, unemployed youth, they are picked up. And then they are trained in the hospitality and the F&B aspects of the hospitality. And then they are taken, majority of them they get absorbed in city-bound hotels, and some of them we have been able to absorb in our lodges also. So it provides a direct livelihood option to them.
So while I was in this beautiful wilderness, I decided to join the evening safari, a walking trail along the banks of the Banjar River just outside of the property. So we set out on foot to discover the beautiful jungle of Kanha and learn about the rich biodiversity of the region. We were also lucky to spot some of the inhabitants from really up close.
Well, I had quite an eventful day. From spending some time in solitude to taking a walk by the river, I enjoyed every bit of it. With that, it's time for a short break, but on the other side, I will be navigating further deep into the forest to experience the wildlife up close. So stay tuned. So this is the real adventure I was talking about. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm all set to experience the first wildlife safari of my life. And Nara, who's a naturalist in Banjar Tola, will help me navigate my way through the national park. So let's go ahead and meet him.
Hi.
You're the naturalist here?
Yes.
Jeep safaris are the best way to experience Kanha's wildlife and wild habitats. Conducted early in the morning and in the late afternoon by qualified and experienced naturalists in an open 4x4 Suzuki Jeeps, that have elevated seats enhance the safari experience. Kanha's topography and geology combine variously to give it its rich habitat diversity.
Welcome to Kanha National Park. This is how our park looks like. So let's see what luck has in store for us now. Keep driving. First couple of hours, we're going to look for tigers, leopard and sloth bear. Best time of the day to look for these things. And little later, we can look for everything like birds and other stuff and waterhole. All right?
Sighting tigers on drives here is not uncommon. Pug marks, drag of a kill, the various vocalizations of the predator, the crowing and the shuttling of the crows, the alarm calls of the langur and deer are signs that could lead to a rendezvous with the secretive tiger. The evaluation of these signs enables the naturalist to decide the right course.
If we don't see a Barasinga, that means it's big loss. Absolutely big loss. Because they are jewel in Kanha. Tiger you can see anyway, but not Barasinga.
The swamp deer or Barasinga is the jewel of Kanha, and its rescue from the brink of extinction is the crowning glory of its conservation achievements. Though after much anticipation built around Barasinga, I was on a keen lookout for one, but the beauty of what I saw before I could encounter a Barasinga was breathtaking. I marveled at the enormous species of birds, from hornbill to Indian roller to the peacocks, each different from the other. As soon as a group of animals were sighted, our vehicle slowed down and stopped at a distance where the animals took note, but they did not run away. Soon after they resettled, advances were gradually made. Wild boars, spotted deers, and langurs were often found thronging the jungle and communicating with each other.
Mostly, more than graze, they browse. They pick leaves. So that's the reason they live inside. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons tiger goes for the sambar. Yeah. And because it's big, and also live inside, and tiger is an ambush hunter, so he'll try to hunt in the bush. Once they make a kill, next 5 to 7 days they don't have to worry about it. That's the reason.
Wild boars were found following langurs and greedily fed on the leftovers of fruits and leaves generously thrown to the ground by the latter. The association is further advantageous to the deer and the boar because langurs, from their high stance on trees, can see or detect a predator from suspicious movements much earlier than they can and raise the alarm in good time. Langurs are quite serious in such observations and seldom sound a false alarm.
There are 2-3 advantages for the tiger. One is when they mark it like that, they pierce it. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever dead things, it just comes out. So they can keep the claw all the time in a good condition for the hunting. Apart from that, they also have a scent gland here. Nobody knows, we don't know. But when they mark it like that, scratch it, they leave the scent. So that's how they communicate each other.
I have to give the naturalist due credit for all the knowledge, as every time we spotted something, he promptly took his book out that had all the stories and facts recorded. And this made our safari even more interesting. After having spotted the claw marks on the tree, I was hopeful to catch a glimpse of the tiger very soon, and so we moved ahead searching for more signs.
It's a rutting call known as. So one is to impress the female, to let them know that I'm here. And one more thing is, like, when they call like that, the other males will get to know that, oh, there is a dominant male already. So they avoid going there. So that's it.
As we all intensely looked around for a tiger, we ended up spotting a magnificent eagle preying on a snake. It was a sight to behold. Another awe-inspiring sight was of the Indian roller, probably the most beautiful bird, fluttering its turquoise blue wings. Its beauty was definitely jaw-dropping.
One of the most beautiful birds in India.
The blue color is stunning.
Yep. See, the tail is like wagging. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Do you know why is it doing that? No. Take a guess. Any wild guess? It's actually trying to balance it. You just see it? It's sitting on the tip. So they'll try to balance it.
As we longed to get that one glimpse of the tiger, our safari continued with some more spotting of deers, grazing and playing. But as the wait got longer, my excitement only grew stronger. We focused hard to identify the direction of alarm calls.
Langur means it's a long tail, that's all. Just to balance it. If you see their whole tail, whole body and the tail, and the tail is actually like longer than their whole body. Yeah. That's all they use for mostly.
Soon we arrived at a spot where the calls grew louder. Hurriedly we got a jeep closest to the calls, and in no time, there it was. Proudly walking with arrogance and grace, a tigress with beautiful stripes walked out. We carefully followed, ensuring not to pose a threat. She walked ahead of us for almost a minute, but that memory of a minute is going to last forever in my travel diary.
And thank you so much. And try for the next wildlife trips, and keep doing more wildlife trips. That's all I ask. Nothing else. Thank you. Good one.
This jungle safari was the best experience of my life. I realized that safari was not just about spotting animals, but what makes it even more fascinating is understanding the language of the jungle, the law of the wildlife that all these species are naturally gifted with, which is the need of survival. What gave my safari experience a finishing touch to make it an unforgettable experience was getting a slice of the village life. The authentic food served to us in a thali and the cultural performance in the evening has etched a memory of a lifetime. I could have never imagined that deep inside the woods, life is not just adventurous but also full of celebrations.
With that, my stint at Kanha comes to a perfect end, and I hope that today's episode inspired you enough to have your first wildlife experience at the Kanha National Park. For more exciting and exotic retreats around your city, keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.